Michael Davis parked his old blue car outside the police station. His hand shook as he turned off the engine. It had been 3 weeks since his son Jason died. 3 weeks of sleepless nights. 3 weeks of questions with no answers. The police station looked cold with its gray walls and small windows. Michael took a deep breath before stepping out into the rain. He was not a brave man, but today he needed to be strong. His wife could not bear to come, so he came alone. Inside, the bright lights hurt his eyes. The smell of coffee and paper filled the air. A woman at the front desk looked up without smiling. "I need to speak with Officer Reed about my son," Michael said quietly. The woman pointed to a hallway. "Last door on the left." Michael walked slowly, his wet shoes making squeaking sounds on the floor. Photos of police officers lined the walls. Young men and women in uniform, looking proud, just like Jason had looked in his firefighter uniform. Officer Reed was a big man with a red face and small eyes. He did not stand when Michael entered his office. He did not offer his hand. He just pointed to a chair. "Mr. Davis," he said, opening a folder on his desk, "I already told you everything we know." "But the report does not make sense," Michael said. "My son would never attack a police officer. Jason wanted to be one someday." Officer Reed sighed loudly. "Look, the case is closed. Your son was at the wrong place at the wrong time. He made sudden movements when told to stay still. He was helping someone," Michael said, his voice getting stronger. "The woman with the broken car said Jason was kind to her. He showed her his firefighter badge. He was doing his job." Something changed in Officer Reed's face. His mouth turned into an ugly line. "Your son was a troublemaker. We found drugs in his car." Michael stood up so fast his chair fell back. "That is not true. Jason never used drugs. You are lying." Officer Reed stood too, his face getting redder. "Sit down, Mr. Davis. You calling me a liar will not bring your boy back." "I want to see the body camera video," Michael said. "I have the right to see it." Officer Reed laughed, a short and mean sound. "There is no video. The camera was not working that night. Bad luck." Michael felt something break inside him. "You are covering something up. I know it." Officer Reed came around the desk, standing too close to Michael. His breath smelled like cigarettes. "Listen carefully. The case is closed. Go home and move on." "I will not stop until I know the truth," Michael said. That was when Officer Reed's face changed completely. His eyes became cold as ice. He leaned in and whispered words that burned into Michael's heart. "Your son deserved it." Michael could not breathe, could not move. The room seemed to spin around him. Then a sound came from the radio on Officer Reed's belt. Static first, then a clear voice. A voice Michael would know anywhere. "Ma'am, please stay behind your vehicle. I called for help. I am a trained firefighter. My name is Jason Davis." Officer Reed grabbed his radio, turning it off quickly. But it was too late. Michael had heard it. The last words of his son. The words of someone helping, not causing trouble. Michael looked at Officer Reed with new eyes. That was Jason. That was my son. What really happened that night? Fear crossed Officer Reed's face, just for a second, but Michael saw it. And in that moment, he knew. This was just the beginning of his fight for the truth. Michael left the police station with his heart beating fast. The rain had stopped, but the sky was still dark with clouds. He sat in his car for a long time, replaying what just happened in his mind. Jason's voice on that radio changed everything. It was proof that the police were not telling the truth. His son had been helping someone that night, not causing trouble. Michael started his car but did not drive home. Instead, he went to the place where Jason died. It was a quiet road near the edge of town. A small cross with flowers marked the spot. Someone had tied a firefighter badge to the cross, probably one of Jason's friends from the volunteer fire station. As Michael stood there, a car pulled up behind him. A woman stepped out. She was small with gray hair and kind eyes. Michael did not know her. "Are you Jason's father?" she asked in a soft voice. Michael nodded. "Yes. Did you know my son?" The woman came closer. "My name is Martha Wilson. I was there that night." She pointed to the road. "My car broke down right here. Your son stopped to help me." Michael felt his breath catch. "You are the woman he was helping." Martha nodded, tears in her eyes. "He was so kind. He made me feel safe. He called for help and told me to stay behind my car. Then the police came and everything happened so fast." "What did you see?" Michael asked, his voice shaking. The officer came out of his car with his gun already out. He was shouting. Jason tried to explain he was a firefighter. He reached for his ID. Then Martha stopped, her face pale with the memory. "Then they shot him," Michael finished for her. "Yes," Martha whispered. "And afterward, they told me to say Jason was acting wild. They said if I did not agree with their story, I might get in trouble too. I was scared, so I signed their paper. But I cannot live with that lie anymore." Michael took her hand. "Will you tell the truth now? Will you help me?" Martha looked afraid, but nodded. "Yes, for your son. He saved my life that night. If he had not stopped to help me, I might have been hit by a truck on this dark road." As they talked, another car drove up. A young woman with short, dark hair and a camera around her neck got out. She walked toward them with purpose in her steps. "Mr. Davis, I am Sarah Jenkins from the City News. I got your message." Michael had called the newspaper that morning, hoping someone would listen to his story. He had not expected anyone to come so quickly. "Thank you for coming," Michael said. He turned to Martha. "This is Mrs. Wilson. She saw what happened to Jason." Sarah's eyes lit up. "A witness? Mrs. Wilson, would you be willing to tell me what you saw that night?" Martha looked at Michael, then back at Sarah. "Yes, I am tired of being afraid. Jason was a hero. People should know the truth." Sarah took out a recorder. "This is a brave thing you are doing, both of you." She looked at the road, the cross, the flowers. "What happened here matters, and I promise I will write the truth." For the first time since Jason died, Michael felt a small spark of hope. With Martha's story and Sarah's help, maybe people would learn who his son really was. Not the person in the police report, but a young man who stopped to help a stranger on a dark road. As the three of them stood there, a police car drove slowly past. Officer Reed was behind the wheel. He stared at them with cold eyes before driving away. "He knows we are not giving up," Michael said, watching the car disappear down the road. "Then we better work fast," Sarah said, "because they will try to stop us." The next morning, Sarah met Michael and Martha at a small coffee shop far from the police station. They sat in a corner booth where no one could hear them talk. Sarah had a notebook and a serious look on her face. "I did some checking last night," Sarah said, keeping her voice low. "This is not the first time Officer Reed has been in trouble. 3 years ago, another young man filed a complaint against him for using too much force. The case was dropped." Michael was not surprised. How can they keep letting him work? Sarah sipped her coffee. "The police take care of their own. But this time we have something they did not expect. We have a witness." Martha looked nervous, but nodded. "I will tell what I saw. But will it be enough?" Sarah leaned forward. "We need more. We need proof." She turned to Michael. "You said you heard Jason's voice on Officer Reed's radio. How is that possible?" Michael thought hard. "I do not know. Maybe it was a recording from that night. Or maybe," Sarah said slowly, "Jason was recording himself. Did he ever do that during emergency calls?" Michael's eyes widened. Yes, he had an app on his phone. He used it to record important information at accident scenes. He said it helped him remember details for his reports. Hope filled the small booth. If Jason had recorded what happened that night, they might have real proof. "We need to find his phone," Sarah said. "Did the police give you his things?" Michael shook his head. "They said nothing was found with his body. But I know he had his phone. He always did. They are hiding it, Martha said, just like they are hiding the truth. As they talked, the door to the coffee shop opened. A young man in a firefighter uniform walked in. He saw Michael and came straight to their table. "Mr. Davis, I am Tom Bradley. I worked with Jason at the fire station." The young man looked sad but determined. "I heard you were trying to find out what really happened." "You knew my son?" Michael asked. Tom nodded. "He was my best friend. We were on the same team." He sat down next to Martha. "I want to help. Jason would have done the same for me." Sarah studied the young firefighter. "Did Jason ever talk about problems with the police?" Tom looked around nervously before answering. "Yes. About 2 months ago, Jason said he saw something he should not have seen. He was driving home late after a call. He saw Officer Reed and another cop taking money from a man outside the old warehouse." "Taking money?" Martha asked. "Like a bribe?" "Jason thought so," Tom said. "He told me he was going to report it. I told him to be careful." Michael felt sick. "You think they killed my son because of what he saw?" Sarah wrote quickly in her notebook. "It gives them a reason. A motive." Tom reached into his pocket. "There is something else. I found this in Jason's locker at the station." He handed Michael a small memory card. "Jason gave it to me the day before he died. He said to keep it safe. I did not look at what is on it." Michael held the tiny card like it was made of gold. "This could be the proof we need." Sarah took out her laptop. "Let me see what is on it." They all watched as she put the card into her computer. A file appeared on the screen. It was a video. Sarah clicked on it. The screen showed a dark street. Jason's voice came through clearly. "This is Jason Davis, volunteer firefighter. I am stopping to help a stranded motorist on County Road 8. The video showed Jason getting out of his car. It showed him helping Martha. And then it showed the police car arriving. What happened next made them all gasp. The video showed everything. The truth about how Jason died. "We have it," Sarah whispered. "We have the proof." But proof could be dangerous. Officer Reed and his friends would not let their secret get out easily. Michael knew they were now all in danger, but there was no turning back. For Jason, they had to be brave. Sarah copied the video to her laptop and gave the memory card back to Michael. "Keep this safe," she said. "We need to be very careful now." The small group left the coffee shop together. Tom offered to drive Martha home while Michael went with Sarah to her office at the newspaper. As they walked to their cars, Michael felt someone watching them. He turned and saw a police car parked across the street. "Do not look," Sarah whispered. "Just keep walking." At the newspaper office, Sarah showed the video to her boss, an older man named Bill Morgan. He watched with a serious face. "This is big," Bill said when the video ended. "Very big, but also very dangerous. The police will not want this to come out." "Will you run the story?" Sarah asked. Bill thought for a moment. "Yes, but we need to do this right. We need more than just the video. We need to know why they were so quick to shoot Jason. What was he going to report about Officer Reed?" Michael spoke up. "My son kept a journal. He wrote in it every night. Maybe there is something in there about what he saw." Sarah nodded. "Good idea. Where is it?" "At our house. In his room." They agreed that Michael would go home and look for the journal while Sarah started writing the story. But when Michael reached his house, he knew something was wrong. The front door was open. Inside, the house was a mess. Someone had searched through everything. Michael ran to Jason's room. It was the worst. All the drawers were open. Books and clothes were on the floor. The journal was gone. His wife Lisa came home while he was still standing in Jason's room. She screamed when she saw the mess. "Who did this?" she cried. "The police," Michael said. "They are trying to hide what they did to Jason." Lisa sat on the edge of Jason's bed, tears running down her face. "I wish you would stop, Michael. I am scared. Nothing will bring our son back." Michael sat next to her and took her hand. Jason tried to do the right thing. He was brave. I need to be brave too. For him. Lisa looked at the photos of Jason on his wall. Their son in his cap and gown at graduation. In his firefighter uniform, proud and tall. He was a good boy, she whispered. The best, Michael agreed. And people need to know the truth about him. His phone rang. It was Sarah, her voice tense. Someone broke into my office too. They took my laptop. But they were too late. I already sent the video and story to Bill. He is going to publish it tomorrow. They took Jason's journal from our house, Michael told her. This means we are right, Sarah said. They are scared of what we know. After the call, Michael and Lisa cleaned up the house. As they worked, Michael remembered something. He went to the garage and moved an old box in the corner. Behind it was a loose board in the wall. Jason had shown him this hiding spot years ago. It was their secret. Michael removed the board and reached inside. There was a small notebook, not Jason's regular journal, but a smaller one. Michael opened it and began to read. His hand shook as he turned the pages. Lisa, he called. I found something. The small notebook had names, dates, and places. It showed that Officer Reed and 3 other police officers were working with drug dealers in the city. They took money to look the other way. Jason had been collecting proof for months. The last entry was from the night before he died. Tomorrow I take this to Captain Miller. He is the only one I can trust. Michael closed the notebook. This is why they killed him. He was going to report them. Jason died because he was trying to do the right thing. Lisa took the notebook with trembling hands. What do we do now? We take this to Captain Miller, just like Jason planned. And we make sure everyone knows what our son tried to do. Finding Captain Miller was not easy. He was not at the police station when Michael called. The officer who answered the phone said the captain was away for a few days. Michael did not trust this information. Sarah helped by looking up Captain Miller's home address. That evening, Michael and Lisa drove to a small house on the edge of town. They parked across the street and watched. After an hour, a man in plain clothes came out to get his mail. It was Captain Miller. Michael walked up to him slowly. His hands where the captain could see them. Captain Miller, I am Michael Davis. Jason Davis was my son. The captain's face changed. He looked sad and then worried. Mr. Davis, I am sorry for your loss, but you should not be here. Please, Michael said, we need to talk about Jason. About what he knew. Captain Miller looked around the quiet street. Come inside. Quickly. Inside the small house, Captain Miller locked the door and closed all the curtains. I have been staying away from the station, he explained. Things are not right there. Michael showed him the small notebook. Jason was going to bring this to you. The day he died. Captain Miller read through the pages, his face getting more serious with each one. I knew something was wrong. Officers making too much money. Drug busts where the evidence disappeared. But I had no proof. He looked up at Michael. Your son was very brave. And they killed him for it, Lisa said, tears in her eyes. Maybe, Captain Miller said. But we need to be smart now. Reed has friends in the department. Powerful friends. This notebook is a start, but we need more to take them down. We have more, Michael said. He told the captain about the video from the memory card and Sarah's story that would be in the newspaper tomorrow. Captain Miller made a phone call. He spoke in a low voice to someone he called Judge. When he hung up, he turned to Michael and Lisa. Listen carefully. Tomorrow will be dangerous. When the story comes out, Reed and his friends will be desperate. The judge is someone I trust. He has agreed to sign warrants for their arrests, but we need to move fast. He wrote down an address. This is a safe house. Go there tonight. Do not go home. I will send officers I trust to pick up Tom, and Martha too. Sarah should come as well. Then what? Michael asked. Then we wait for the newspaper. Once the story is public, we move. That night, Michael, Lisa, Sarah, Tom, and Martha sat in a small house outside the city. Two police officers that Captain Miller trusted stood guard. Everyone was nervous, but also hopeful. The truth was about to come out. Early the next morning, Captain Miller arrived with newspapers. He spread them on the table. The headline was big and bold. Hero fight or killed guy QORUP Police. Sarah's story filled the front page, with a photo of Jason in his firefighter uniform. "It's happening," Sarah said, her voice shaking with emotion. "People will know the truth now." Captain Miller's phone rang. His face was serious as he listened. "We need to move," he said when he hung up. "Reed and his friends are trying to leave town. The judge has signed the arrest warrants. My trusted officers are moving in now." He turned to Michael. "I need the memory card. The original video is important evidence." Michael handed it over. "Will they really be arrested?" "Yes," Captain Miller said. "But this is just the beginning. There will be a trial. You will all need to testify. It will not be easy." "We will do it," Martha said firmly. "For Jason." Everyone nodded in agreement. They would see this through to the end. Outside, they could hear sirens in the distance. The city was waking up to the truth. Jason's story was being told. He had died trying to expose corruption, and now his final act of bravery would bring justice. Michael looked at Lisa. For the first time since they lost their son, he saw hope in her eyes. They had a long road ahead, but together they would walk it. For Jason, the arrests did not go smoothly. Officer Reed and one of his friends got away before the police could find them. The other two corrupt officers were caught and taken to jail. The city was in shock as the news spread. For safety, Michael and the others stayed at the safe house for 2 more days. Police officers stood guard outside. Captain Miller visited often with updates. "We are looking everywhere for Reed," he told them. "He cannot hide forever." On the 3rd day, they held a public memorial service for Jason. The city's main church was full of people. Firefighters in uniform stood in a line at the front. Many people who did not even know Jason came to show support. Michael, Lisa, and Jason's friends sat in the front row. When it was time, Michael walked to the front to speak. His legs felt weak, but his voice was strong. "My son was a helper," he said, looking at the sea of faces. "From the time he was small, he wanted to help others. That is why he became a volunteer firefighter. That is why he stopped to help a stranded driver that night. And that is why he tried to report the wrongdoing he saw." Michael paused, looking at the large photo of Jason that stood next to him. "Some people call my son a troublemaker, but now everyone knows the truth. He was a hero who died trying to make our city safer for all of us." When Michael finished speaking, the fire chief came forward. He was a tall man with a kind face. "Jason Davis was one of our best," he said. "Today, we honor him by naming our newest fire truck after him. The Jason Davis Rescue Truck will help save lives in our city for many years to come." The crowd stood and clapped. Many were crying. Even the news reporters who came to cover the story wiped tears from their eyes. After the service, Michael and Lisa greeted the many people who came to share memories of Jason. There were his fellow firefighters, teachers from his school, and people he had helped during emergencies. Each story showed what a special person their son had been. As the crowd thinned, Captain Miller approached with a serious look. "We found Reed's partner," he said quietly. "He agreed to talk in exchange for a lighter sentence. He told us where Reed is hiding." "Are you going to arrest him now?" Lisa asked. Captain Miller nodded. "Yes, but there is something you should know. Reed is dangerous and desperate. He has nothing to lose." Michael understood what the captain was not saying. The arrest could go wrong in many ways. "Be careful," he said. That evening, Michael, Lisa, and their friends gathered at Sarah's apartment to wait for news. The TV was on, showing regular programs, but no one was really watching. Every time a phone rang, everyone jumped. Finally, at just past midnight, Captain Miller called. "We got him," he said simply. "Reed is in custody." Everyone cheered. Martha and Tom hugged each other. Sarah called her newspaper to report the news for the morning edition. Michael held Lisa as she cried tears of relief. But the captain was not finished. "There is something else," he said. "Reed had a recording device in his pocket the night Jason died. He recorded everything, thinking it would protect him. But the recording proves exactly what happened. It matches Jason's video perfectly. We found it in his hiding place." "So there is no doubt at all," Michael said. "None," the captain confirmed. "The district attorney says this case is solid. Reed and his friends will go to prison for a long time." When Michael hung up the phone, he felt a strange feeling. Not happiness exactly. Jason was still gone. Nothing would bring him back. But there was a sense of peace, of rightness. The truth was out. Justice would be done. "What now?" Lisa asked, her head on his shoulder. Michael looked around at the people who had helped them find the truth. At the newspaper with the story of Jason's bravery. At the city that now knew his son was a hero. "Now we make sure no one forgets," he said. "We make sure Jason's name means something good in this city." The trial began 3 months later. The courthouse was always full of people. Reporters came from other cities to cover the story. Everyone wanted to see justice for Jason Davis. Michael and Lisa sat in the front row every day. Sarah sat with them, taking notes for her newspaper stories. Martha and Tom came whenever they could. Captain Miller was there most days too, watching carefully. The district attorney, a strong woman named Ms. Powell, presented the case against Officer Reed and his 3 friends. She showed both videos to the jury. Jason's recording from his phone and Reed's secret recording told the same story. The truth was clear. Jason Davis was a young man doing his job. Ms. Powell told the jury. He stopped to help someone in need. He identified himself as a firefighter. He was reaching for his ID when Officer Reed shot him without warning. This was not a mistake. This was murder. The defense lawyers tried to say Reed was just doing his job, that he felt threatened, but the videos showed this was not true. And when Martha took the stand to tell what she saw that night, her words were powerful. "He was kind to me," she said, looking at the jury. "He made me feel safe. He told me exactly what to do. When the police car pulled up, he smiled. He thought help had arrived. He had no reason to be afraid of the police." Her voice broke. "He should not have died that night. Not for helping me." The hardest day was when Michael had to testify. He had to look at Officer Reed sitting at the defense table. The man who killed his son. The man who said those terrible words to him. Your son deserved it. Ms. Powell asked Michael to tell about that day at the police station, about hearing Reed say those words, about hearing Jason's voice on the radio. "I will never forget that moment," Michael said. "When I heard my son's voice, I knew the police report was a lie. Jason was not causing trouble. He was helping, just like he always did." The defense lawyer tried to make Michael angry, to trip him up, but Michael stayed calm. He told the truth simply. When he stepped down from the witness stand, Lisa squeezed his hand. She was proud of him. The trial lasted 2 weeks. Finally, it was time for the jury to decide. Everyone waited anxiously. It took them only 4 hours to reach a verdict. When they came back into the courtroom, the room was so quiet you could hear people breathing. The head juror stood up. She was an older woman with silver hair. "On the charge of murder in the first degree, we find the defendant, Officer James Reed, guilty." A sound went through the courtroom. Part gasp, part sigh. Michael closed his eyes. Lisa cried quietly beside him. The juror continued, finding Reed guilty of corruption and abuse of power. His 3 friends were found guilty of similar charges. They would all go to prison for many years. As the officers were led away in handcuffs, Reed looked back at Michael. There was no sneer on his face now, just defeat. Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded Michael and Lisa. They asked many questions, but Michael only had one thing to say. "Today, Justice was done for our son. Now we can begin to heal. Now our city can begin to heal. That evening, the mayor of the city called Michael. She asked if they could meet the next day to discuss something important. Michael agreed, curious about what she wanted. That night, Michael sat on the porch of their house, looking at the stars. It was the first night in months he felt peaceful. Lisa brought him a cup of coffee and sat beside him. "Do you think Jason knows?" she asked softly. "Do you think he knows what happened today?" Michael put his arm around her. "Yes," he said. "I believe he does." In the distance, they heard the sound of a fire truck siren. The Jason Davis rescue truck was on its way to help someone. Jason's legacy was already at work in the city. Michael smiled. Their son would never be forgotten. The next morning, Michael and Lisa met with Mayor Wilson at City Hall. The mayor was a small woman with a big presence. She welcomed them warmly into her office. "Thank you for coming," she said. "What happened to your son has changed our city. We need to make sure it changes it for the better." Michael and Lisa sat across from her desk. "What do you mean?" Michael asked. The mayor leaned forward. "I want to create a new program. We will call it the Jason Davis Program. It will help train police officers and firefighters to work better together, to respect each other, to serve our community with honor." Lisa's eyes filled with tears. "That would be wonderful." "There is more," the mayor continued. "We want to create a scholarship in Jason's name. It will help young people who want to become firefighters or emergency workers, and we want to build a small park where Jason died. A place of remembrance, but also a place of hope." Michael was moved by these ideas. Jason would have liked that, especially helping young people become firefighters. That was his dream from the time he was a boy. The mayor smiled. "I want you both to be part of this, to help us shape these programs. Your son's story has the power to make real change in how our emergency services work together." Michael and Lisa agreed to help. As they left City Hall, they felt lighter somehow. Jason's death would lead to something good. It would help protect others. It would save lives. Over the next few months, Michael worked closely with Captain Miller and the fire chief to design the new training program. They used Jason's story to teach police cadets and firefighter trainees about communication and cooperation. Lisa focused on the scholarship program. She read applications from young people who wanted to serve their community. Many wrote about how Jason's story inspired them. The small park began to take shape at the spot where Jason died. The cross and flowers were replaced by a simple stone marker with Jason's name and the words "He stopped to help." Around it, trees were planted and benches placed. It became a peaceful spot where people often came to sit and reflect. 1 year after Jason's death, the city held a ceremony to officially open Jason Davis Park. It seemed like the whole city came. The new fire truck named after Jason was parked nearby, gleaming red in the sunshine. The mayor spoke about positive changes in the city. Captain Miller, now the police chief, talked about the new police training program. The fire chief introduced the first 5 recipients of the Jason Davis Scholarship. Then it was Michael's turn to speak. He stood tall, looking out at the crowd. So many familiar faces, friends and family. Martha Wilson, Tom Bradley, Sarah Jenkins and her newspaper team. And many strangers too, people who had been touched by Jason's story. 1 year ago, I lost my son, Michael began. I was filled with grief and anger. I wanted someone to blame. What I found instead was the truth, and the truth set many things right in our city. He looked at the stone marker with Jason's name. My son believed in helping others. He believed in doing what was right, even when it was hard, even when it was dangerous. The changes we see today in our city are because of his courage, because he stopped to help. After the ceremony, many people came to shake Michael's hand, to share stories of how the changes had affected them. A young police cadet told Michael that Jason's story had changed how he thought about his job. A mother said the new cooperation between police and firefighters had helped save her child in an accident. As the crowd thinned, Michael noticed a woman standing alone by the stone marker. He did not recognize her at first. Then she turned, and he saw it was Officer Reed's wife. She looked nervous as Michael approached. "Mrs. Reed," he said quietly, "thank you for coming." She had tears in her eyes. "I am so sorry for what my husband did. I wanted you to know that. I have been afraid to face you." Michael nodded. "Thank you for telling me. This has been hard for everyone." "The scholarships," she said hesitantly. "I want to contribute to them. It is not much, but it is something." Michael was surprised, but touched. That would be good. Jason would have liked that. As she walked away, Michael felt something shift inside him. The last bit of anger melted away. There had been enough pain. Now was the time for healing. For everyone. 5 years passed. The Jason Davis program became a model for cities across the country. Police officers and firefighters trained together, learning to work as one team to help people in need. The number of emergency worker deaths dropped. The number of lives saved went up. The scholarship program grew too. What started with 5 students became 50. Young people from all backgrounds were able to follow their dreams of helping others. Many of them now worked in the city as firefighters, paramedics, and even police officers. Michael and Lisa found a new purpose in their lives. They traveled to other cities to talk about the program named for their son. They shared his story and helped create change. Their pain never fully went away, but it changed into something useful, something that helped others. On the 5th anniversary of Jason's death, Michael visited the park alone. It had grown more beautiful over the years. Trees provided shade. Flowers bloomed along the paths. Children played on the small playground that had been added the year before. Michael sat on a bench near the stone marker. He often came here to think, to remember, to feel close to his son. Today, he had news to share. "The last one is going to prison today, Jason," he said quietly. The judge gave him 20 years. That chapter is finally closed. Officer Reed and his closest friend had received the longest sentences. The other 2 had made deals to serve less time in exchange for information about other corrupt officers. Because of their cooperation, 5 more bad officers had been removed from the force. As Michael sat there, a young man in a firefighter uniform approached. He looked nervous. "Mr. Davis, I am sorry to interrupt. I am Ryan Thompson. I was one of the first Jason Davis scholars." Michael smiled and shook his hand. "I remember you. You wrote an essay about wanting to be like Jason." Ryan nodded. "Yes, sir. I graduated last year. I have been working at Station 8, the same one where Jason worked." "That is wonderful," Michael said. "How do you like it?" "I love it, sir, but that is not why I came to find you." Ryan took a deep breath. "Last night, we had a call. A bad car crash on Highway 9. When we got there, the police were already helping. One officer was amazing. He had pulled a child from the car before it caught fire. He was giving her CPR when we arrived. He saved her life." Michael listened, wondering why Ryan was telling him this story. "That officer," Ryan continued, "he was one of the new ones, trained in the Jason Davis program. He told me that your son's story changed how he sees his job. He keeps a photo of Jason in his locker to remind him why he became a police officer. To help people, not to have power over them." Michael felt a warmth spread through his chest. "Thank you for telling me this." Ryan smiled. "There is more. The little girl who was saved. Her name is Jasmine, but everyone calls her Jazz. Like Jason, but a little different." "Jazz," Michael repeated, smiling. "I like that." After Ryan left, Michael sat for a long time, thinking about connections, how Jason's life had touched Ryan's, how Ryan and the police officer had saved little Jazz, how one life could affect so many others. Later that evening, Michael and Lisa hosted a small gathering at their home. The first 5 Jason Davis scholars were there, including Ryan. Tom Bradley came with his wife and new baby. Martha Wilson brought cookies, just as she had done for every gathering over the years. Sarah Jenkins arrived late, coming straight from the newspaper office. Captain Miller, now Chief Miller, was the last to arrive. He brought a small wrapped package for Michael and Lisa. "This came to the station today," he explained, "from Mrs. Reed. She asked me to bring it to you." Inside was a framed photograph of the first Jason Davis program training class. Police cadets and firefighter trainees standing together, smiling. With it was a note. "Thank you for turning tragedy into hope. Your son continues to save lives." Michael passed the photograph around. Lisa put it on the mantel next to the photos of Jason. As the evening went on, stories were shared about Jason, about changes in the city, about lives saved because of better training and cooperation, about young people following in Jason's footsteps. Michael looked around the room at these people who had become like family. 5 years ago, they had been strangers brought together by tragedy. Now they were connected by something stronger, by purpose, by hope, by the legacy of a young man who had stopped to help. Outside, the sound of sirens could be heard in the distance. But now, instead of bringing fear or sadness, the sound brought comfort. Somewhere in the city, police officers and firefighters were working together, helping people, saving lives, just like Jason would have wanted.